Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya
की
Jai.
Jai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday feast program today. Although today is not a specially mentioned day in our Vaishnava calendar, but today is a very auspicious day. So today is Mother's Day. So to all the mothers, Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. It's actually a very central point in our Shastras, although we don't have a particular day for worshipping the mother, but it is for a sincere practicing devotee, worship of the mother is everyday affair. It's not a single day affair, but nothing against that. That's fine. At least there is one recognized day in the calendar year, at least that we can officially recognize. If not recognizing one every other day. Okay. So today's chapter is chapter 9, text 33. On the thick binder, it is a big book, it's page 415. Chapter 9, text 33. Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Anybody would like to recite?
Kim punar brahmana punya
Kim punar brahmana punya
bhakta rajasyastata anityam sukham lokam
anityam asukam lokam
imam prapya bhajasvamam.
Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata
Anityam asukham lokam
imam prapya bhajasvamam.
Kim punar brahmana punya
Kim punar brahmana punya
bhakta
rajasyastata
anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam.
Kim punar brahmana punya
Bhakta rajarshayastata
anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam.
Anybody else?
Kim punar brahmana punya
Kim punar brahmana
punya
bhakta rajasyastata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam.
Transliteration. Please repeat after me. Kim,
Kim,
how much?
how much?
Punaha,
Punaha,
again.
again.
Brahmanaha, brahmanas. Punyaha, righteous.
Righteous.
Bhaktaha, devotees. Rajarishayaha, saintly kings. Tata, also. Anityam, temporary. Asukham, full of miseries. Lokam, planet. Imam, this. Prapya, gaining. Bhajasva, be engaged in loving service. Mam, unto me. Before we read the translation and purport, let's tell our prayers. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So please repeat the translation. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary, miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Please hear the purport. In this material world, there are classifications of people. But after all, this world is not a happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, Anityam Asukham Lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries, not habitable for any sane gentleman. This world is declared by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some philosophers, especially Mayavadi philosophers, say that this world is false. But we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false. It is temporary. There is a difference between temporary and false. The world is temporary, but this world is temporary, but there is another world which is eternal. This world is miserable, but the other world is eternal and blissful. Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead, back home. No one should remain in this temporary world, full as it is with miseries. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all problems of all classes of men can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. Hare Krishna. So, in the previous verse, this is a continuation of actually this whole chapter. The most confidential knowledge is a very, as many devotees have said before, very secretive chapter. yet very chapter that if you read it from the top, we might not get it. It doesn't look like a secret, but it is a secret and confidential knowledge. So this verse specifically is continuing from the previous verse. So the previous verse, Krishna is saying, those who take shelter in me. Both the verses are actually talking about, engaging in loving service to the Lord, and taking shelter of the Lord. But in the previous verse, specifically, Krishna says that those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, can attain supreme destination. Somewhere it might come, somewhere it might hit that, oh, so shelter, if only the lower class people take, lower class as in the sense, whatever is defined as lower birth. So if they take shelter of Krishna, then they will go home back to Godhead. But this is not necessary for the upper class people. Upper class as in people of the upper birth. Now, what is the upper birth? The upper birth here in the next verse, Krishna is saying the Brahmanas, devotees, and saintly kings. When Krishna says birth, it means that someone who has taken birth in the upper class and also has practiced to be called of that nature. Not simply that we are born of a king but we do no practices as a king. Then we cannot be called as a royal order. That is not possible. So in this verse, Krishna is saying that not only the women, the Vaishyas, the Shudras, the children, all of these people should take shelter of Krishna. Even the Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings also take the shelter of Krishna and also engage in the loving service unto me. Prabhupada in the first line, the central point of this verse is less to do with the classification of people, but more to do with these three words that Prabhupada has highlighted: Anityam, Asukham, and Lokam. Anityam means temporary. So Prabhupada in the first line of the purport is saying that in this world there are all sorts of classifications of people. But after all, this world is not a happy place for anyone. Someone might be rich, someone might come from high birth, someone might have high education, someone might have a very solid physique. So many things, right? Everything if there is darkness, then there is light. So everything has opposites. So one might think that if I am well off, then I am better. If I am if I have a solid physique, then I am better. If I'm looking better than the average people, then I am better. Then these type of classifications are there that people think in their mind. People always have the what is it, the habit of comparing oneself to the other, no matter how that person is. So if you take a classic example in modern day, everybody gives this example, is that if you say somebody is very rich and somebody is very intelligent, then they're better well off. So if you take and they won't have any sufferings, because we are not well off, so we have sufferings. That is a common notion with most of the people. So Prabhupada is saying it is not a happy place for anyone. So no one, it's a happy place. So example, if you take the CEO, Apple CEO Steve Jobs, right? He turned the whole world around with his inventions. Before that, world was going in one direction. Now I would say that probably we could call him as the father of the digital world. Maybe we can say that the way he's transformed things. He made lots of money. His company was worth in the trillions. But still, he also had to suffer from cancer, right? He had to suffer from whatever cancer that was. I forget what it was, but whatever cancer he had to suffer. And even while he was, in this final days, he said, all this money and all this knowledge and brain could still not solve this problem of, this particular disease, whatever is going. Disease is common. Thousands and thousands of years of material progress has been done. We accept that. We are now living in 21st, 22nd century. If you look back maybe 20 years, we are at least, we have progressed from the 20-year mark to now. There is sufficient progress. If you look back 50 years, we have definitely progressed in the last 50 years, definitely progressed in the last 100 years. We are not riding on bullock carts anymore, but we are driving on cars. We are not probably, living under a thatched roof. You're living under a proper cemented wall, insulated building where it gives us warmth. But are you telling me we don't have any more problems? Those days when they didn't have insulated walls, they had some problem. We have insulated walls today, we still have problems, right? So problems does not cease to exist, right? I'm sorry to say, problems, does not end, right? Problem is always, it's a continuous process. Why is it a continuous process? Because the world is designed like that, right? Dukhalayam ashashvatam. The world is designed for you to feel the misery. The world is designed not to give you a very flowery space, right? People might take travel, these nowadays with all this Instagram and whatnot, people might take nice videos of Switzerland and some other parts of Canada and US and Europe and show, look at this, how beautiful and serene this greenery places, right? But if you, from looking into that screen, you might also be attracted to that and say, wow, the world is so beautiful, right? So, one way to look at it is, look at this amazing Krishna's creation. That is one way to look at it. Second way to look at it is, hey, I also want to go and enjoy this beauty. I want to drink in all this, this nature, and nothing wrong with that. But the fact is that once you start enjoying it, that enjoyment will end right away.
Credit card bills.
Credit card bills. There you go. When you come back, a mail will come home with a long bill of wherever you expended. Another example for all us Canadians is, first time when we come to Canada, somebody takes us to Niagara Falls and then we go, wow, Horseshoe Falls, water, millions of gallons of water falling. And we look, and then they'll take you into that boat. What is the boat called? Made in the Mist. Made in the Mist. Whatever else, that journey behind the falls and all of this, we look at it and then we say, oh, we Canadians have a better view than the Americans. And somehow we feel like this artificial pleasure, like as though we only dug this well and we made it, right? But then some guest come. We stay in this country for like a couple of years. Some guest comes. Where will you take them? Take them back. Take to Niagara Falls. Once, twice, thrice. After 2-3 times, you're like, same thing. Just look it up on the YouTube. The same experience, nothing different, right? We feel that. CN Tower. We look up. The elevator goes in 11 seconds. We reach whichever floor, 100, 200 floors, whatever it is. Okay, you'll go up and do what? You'll stare at the world down. But you cannot live there permanently. You have to come down. So you come down. Then afterwards, anybody asks you, can you take me to CN Tower? You'll drop them at that building. He said, you take the ticket, you go up, you come down. We don't want to go again. It's the same thing with all these other places too. When you go to this beautiful, nice adjectives they use, sandy beaches of California maybe, or the Rocky Mountains of whichever state that may be, right? You go there, you look at, okay, finish. Will you go there again and again and again? You will not go there again because it's boring, and credit card bills for sure. So the thing is that even that sukha that you get, the happiness that you get by seeing Niagara Falls the first time, or the CN Tower for the first time, or whatever it is for the first time, you don't get that happiness again. Right? Everybody can experience that, right? It's people talked about. I used to live in the Middle East, and when I used to live in the Middle East, people used to talk about Dubai a lot, and that time Dubai was just like was building up that time, and they used to build buildings like a circle, like a football, like a star, like they used to do all the crazy things. So, but of course, I never got to experience it. So, and all my friends said, "Oh, okay, you stayed in that country for so many years, and yet you never got to see it." Said, "Okay, fine, whatever." And then once so it so happened that I had to stay in Dubai for 2 days because of transit. And when I stayed in transit, I said, "Okay, let's go check it out." Because we saw this picture so many times in so many places. When you go back there, okay, it's just after looking at CN Tower, every building is a building, right? Okay, it's a building, fine, whatever, people regular here when we take an Uber or when you take whatever equivalent of Uber is, Lyft, Uber, and all of that, a regular car comes. In Dubai, if you take an Uber, you probably get like a Mercedes coming in, and twice you look at it. Is it for me or is it for someone else? That's all it is. It's like 5 minutes after sitting in it. Initially, I felt like, wow, look at it, I'm getting royal treatment. But after you go and come out of it, it's like, okay, going point A to point B. There's no big deal about it, right? So Prabhupada is saying, so the devotees who know the truth that this world is anityam, asukham, this planet is anityam and asukham, they give it up easily. So now from an outside perspective, we might think that sometimes we hear this, oh, this person was the son of a billionaire, but he left everything for Krishna. And we're saying, Arey, you could have just kept that billions of dollars, still do Krishna consciousness. Why can't it go parallelly? Why can't it go parallel? Because a person who is in who is engaged in the loving service of the Lord, we also know, we are also reading that this world is anityam and asukam, temporary and filled with miseries. But we only know, we have not realized. There's a difference between knowing and realizing. When you realize it, then you're able to give it up. But at this point, if someone were to tell you, Prabhuji, Mataji, please give up, this world is temporary, full of miseries, will we give up? No, we'll not give up. Right? We will think, where will the next morsel of grain come from? We're always thinking 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, 10 years ahead, that if I do this, then I will get that in return. Because our mind is wired like that. We have not realized that, that this world is anityam and asukam. Realization is different. When you realize, then you get examples like, Haridas Thakur, for example, right? He was a Mohammedan, he was a Muslim by birth, but he got beaten for practicing Krishna consciousness by the Qazis, the what do you call Qazi? Qazi is the Muslim king. So the Muslim king's people, soldiers, beat him not just beat him, sorry, whiplashed him in 21 marketplaces. But despite being any normal person would have given up his life. Or any normal person after the first whiplash or just by looking at the whip itself would have said, okay, from today I'll not chant. I'll give up everything. Correct? But he was continuously chanting. To an outside person, he might look like a psycho. Right? He might look like, oh, this guy has lost his mental faculties. But that's not true. He has realized that this pain that I'm getting is also temporary. This beating that I'm also getting is temporary. That I'm getting it to this body. To come to that realization, one must be engaged in the loving service of the Lord. It's not going to come just by picking up the Bhagavad Gita and saying, oh, okay, Anityam Asukam Lokam. Okay, fine, great. Next page, next verse. It's not going to come like that. It requires, and here in the last line, Prabhupada says that therefore having come into this temporary Krishna is saying, miserable world, engage in the loving service unto me so that you realize that this world is miserable. Right? If you take a list of all of our acharyas, for example, we gave Haridas Thakur, for example, then coming soon is a very great festival called Panihati festival. Right? Panihati festival is the backdrop of that festival is about this great Goswami by the name of Raghunath Das Goswami. He's one of the 6 Goswamis in our altar. Raghunath Das Goswami belonged to a family of very, very rich mercantile class family. Like rich as in like in today's day, like probably even past Steve Jobs, right? And all of these big multinationals. Right? He was very, very rich. But he at a very young age realized that all this riches that my father and my uncle have earned, it's nothing, right? It's nothing. And even at a very young age, at the age of maybe 16, 18 years old, he realized and he wanted to leave home. So long story short, his father tried to, somebody has brainwashed my child, so that they can either assert my wealth or, whatever it may be. So he tried to trap him, but he eventually left. So to a person who's reading this might again think that, again, why can't we do it in parallels, right? Why can't we? But to a person who's so much realized, he already understands that what am I going to do wasting, I'm 18 now, I will work until probably I'm 50. So what's the point of me working for 30 years and then trying to practice Krishna consciousness in my frail old age? Well, I can use all of this time for practicing Krishna consciousness. I can actually practice every day in and day out. I can perfect myself. I can use all time and every time to become Krishna consciousness, right? So that is one example. And you will see...
Jayapataka Maharaj is a present.
Yeah, so you will see Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, my dear Guru Maharaj as well. He was a son of a billionaire's... he was heir to a billionaire's paint company from Wisconsin, USA. But on Prabhupada's order, he gave up everything at a simple age of 16 years old. At 16, age of 16, we have such and still going to this day with all sorts of. It's not that Diseases don't come to devotees. Diseases come to devotees, right? What is that famous leper who got the disease in Chaitanya Lila? Mm,
Hugged by Mahaprabhu.
yeah, what was his name? Huh? Vasudev Vipra. He became such a exalted devotee. He used to take that worm and put it back onto his body. That the worm, what if the worm gets affected, right? So one might think that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So one might think that what is the need to do this? Okay, practice Krishna consciousness. Why do you got to do all of this really gory type of activities? Right? It's not gory. That the compassion reaches to a level that a normal human cannot understand this compassion. A person who is entangled in the three modes of material nature will not understand this type of compassion. Right? Similarly, we have recently, one of our great exalted acharyas who went home back to God, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. If we give examples 500 years ago, we might think that life is different. Then somehow the life is, upgraded now. So it's not possible in today's day and age. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj was, I'm talking about just like 30, 40, 45 years ago. He was like a top person in the Pepsi company, the Pepsi Cola company. He was like in the executive level. But he used to go to Prabhupada along with his family, and Prabhupada said, "Okay, what is your salary?" He said, "My salary is so and so." Okay. And he would give this complete salary, monthly salary into Prabhupada's hand. This happened in Montreal, not even far away from here. And then Prabhupada asked, "Okay, how much money do you want to, how much money is required for you to run your family?" So Maharaj, at that time, he was a grihastha. So he had to look at his wife, and wife would tell some number. And then Prabhupada would count that number and said, "Here, take it. Okay, go take care of your family." Rest of the money went to the temple. How many of us can possibly do that? We can't do that at all. We can't even think about it. But that type of realization, that type of confidence, that type of faith in the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra is what Krishna is saying when he says, "Engage in loving service to me." Can start off small, but has to reach that level, right? So then, on the flip side, there is also this thing that so can we not at all practice in our grihastha life? If you earn only, then there is grihastha life. If you don't earn, then how there is grihastha life? Right? On the flip side, if you look at Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right, one of our Acharya's father, so is Prabhupada's Guru's father, right? He's also one of our exalted Gurus in our Guru Parampara line. He was a judge. He was a judge in British India. He was a judge, and I mean, there is his glories are like unlimited. He would go finish off his work, and like there was no like he was such a perfectionist in doing his work that where for other people, if it took to judge a particular case for a couple of days, he would just do it in half an hour, right? And such exalted. Plus, he had 10 children, not one. Today, for just one children, we are shaking top to bottom. We'll be shivering. Okay, we have to get up. We have to make something for this. This fellow, send him to school, pick him up, drop off. In between, do your work. 1,000 things. But he had 10 children, and each of the 10 children turned out to be exalted, and especially the last son turned out to be a powerful acharya. He did all this. He did all the while while he was practicing his material affairs. He was being a judge. So the when a person engages in loving service to the Lord, even in this temporary world, he becomes. Here Prabhupada says, the world. Sorry. He feels very blissful in this world, right? Just like how a lotus, the common example that Prabhupada always gives in Bhagavatam is that one person should be like a lotus. Where is the lotus found? Lotus is found in the most dirtiest of the places, right? In, what do you call it? A pond which is filled with not so good pond. That is where the lotus is growing and it is blooming, right? So this material world for devotees is like that. They will stay in the most horriblest this place, anityam, asukam, lokam, but still they will bloom, right? They will bloom, they will be nice. But for the people, it is always going to, it will be one way or the other. There, it will always be a painful task, right? A painful living life. When one thing that I would like to sort of highlight is when we say loving service unto me, right? What can most of us think of? When you say loving service, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Or in other sense, if I can ask, what define loving service, what would that be? There is no perfect answer to this question. Like, everyone's based on experience of what loving service is.
Are we is it in relation to Krishna? Or
Yeah,
just
Krishna is saying, engage in loving service unto me. But we also have to understand what loving service is, right? So, to our head, what does loving service mean?
Okay, so
Yeah.
So one, my humble understanding of loving service to Krishna is basically accepting that he is also, he has a form, and you can interact with him, okay, and not keeping him as a deity in a distance with awe and reverence. First, having a personal relationship with him, and how you would serve anybody in your family in this material world. You have that connection with him, and you do everything seeing him as the head of the family.
Fair enough. So keeping Krishna in the center and treating him like a person, right? Not like, oh, okay, it's made of stone or something like that. Okay, fair enough. Anything else?
We do devotional service every day. We serve the Lord
Okay,
by offering prasadam, cooking prasadam for Him,
right.
doing aarti.
So you're saying devotional service is loving service. You're translating loving service to devotional service. Okay, fair enough.
I think have your heart into it. Don't take it as a mechanical thing.
Don't take it as a mechanical or a ritualistic process. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real. Okay,
I think it's more of a selfless service, like a
very nice.
mother and a child.
Very nice. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Yes. We'll expand on that. Yes, but you wanted to say something.
Serving Krishna through his pure devotee, love and devotion.
Absolutely. Very solid point. And I think Puneet Prabhu stole what was in my head. When we say, although all the points are perfect, when we say loving service in the material world, we need an example, right? We need an example to say what loving service is. Book will say 100 things, but we also should have some reference. We need to have some point of reference. Oh, loving service means this.
How we take care of our children.
Yes.
And parents.
When a mother takes care of the child, right? And by coincidence, it is also Mother's Day. When a mother takes care of the child, Prabhupada says that the closest thing that one comes to loving service unto Krishna is the love that a mother shows towards a child. That is something no human being can experience it from another person other than a mother. Not possible.
Without any expectation.
Without any expectations, without any
String attached.
any strings attached to it, right? That sort of love does not, a person in his entire life, a normal person in his entire life will not be able to see it anywhere other than his own mother, his or her own mother.
That's a pure love.
That is pure love. That is untainted love.
Yeah.
Mother is not expecting that, oh, okay, if this fellow, if we take care of this person, that person, somewhere in the future down the line, they will be of some use to me. Right? Prabhupada says that father may have some tinge, but the mother never has any tinge. Right? In terms of sacrifice, the mother's sacrifice is far, far greater than anyone's sacrifice in the world. Right?
Fathers are going to get offended, Prabhu.
I'm saying it too. So I don't think they should get offended. It's the truth. I'm not saying, Prabhupada is saying. Okay. So if Prabhupada is saying, we have to accept it. There is no way. Nobody saying that father's sacrifice is not there. But the Shastra is saying that the mother's sacrifice is topmost. The sacrifice that is done. Why is cow also called a mother? Right? If the cow is giving you milk, all are drinking milk. But what are we doing in return for that cow? We are doing nothing. We're just going to Walmart, we're paying $5 or $6 and bringing that milk back. That's all we're doing. It is giving us nourishment. It is giving us everything that is happening. But what are we doing in return for the cow? We're not doing anything. And that is why the Shastra says that the cow is considered as one of our mother, because she's doing it unconditionally, right? She can find, Krishna has given her grass. You're not providing any grass for her. Krishna is providing it free of charge. No, she's not going to a store. She's not working and going to a store and purchasing grass and having it. She's getting it free of charge. Krishna has provided. And she's giving you milk for free also. She's doing all the work, converting grass to milk by Krishna's mercy. She's giving you the milk, but you're not doing anything for it. Same likewise, the mother has done a lot, but you're not doing anything to the mother. And you cannot say, nobody can say that, okay, my mother has taken care of me for X number of years, done everything, so therefore I'm going to build her a house, or I will do X, Y, and Z, and that debt of the mother will go away. Impossible. It can never go away. Shastra says it can never ever go away. The only way it will not go away, the only way it can be respected is if one does complete service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only then can it be respected. There is a respect. Krishna doesn't take away that debt, like, okay, your debt is clear. Although Krishna says in one verse that all of your debts towards the devas, the bhutas, the rishis, the worms, the ants, whatever in the world, just by serving unto me, all this debt is cleared. In the, I forget if it's the third canto or the fourth, where Dhruva Maharaj's pastime comes, towards the end, Dhruva says that I am going home back. When his plane for Goloka comes, he says that I am going home back to Godhead because of my mother Suniti. Right? So, can I also take her onto this plane? Can you please make some space? Right? And I'll take my mother along with me. But the Vishnu Dutta say, don't worry, we have given, because she brought you to Krishna consciousness and because you climbed onto Krishna consciousness. You see that plane, she's got a special plane and she's already going before you. You see?
Yeah.
Already going before. If you look at all the great mothers that come in Srimad Bhagavatam is our source of truth, like we say, right? If you look at Dhruva's mother, we spoke about Suniti. If you look at Prahlad Maharaj's mother, often less spoken, Kayadu, right? Often less spoken, because we might think that, what is her contribution in having an exalted devotee like Prahlad? Suniti, at least you can see that she pointed, don't take revenge on your father just because he did this. Don't take revenge on your stepbrother or stepmother. You go to the forest, talk to Krishna, figure it out, come back. You'll get everything.
That is Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj. For Prahlad Maharaj, Kayadu was pregnant. She was being tormented by all the devas and all that. They are worried that another Hiranyakashipu, 10 times worse than him comes. What will be our cause? Narada Muni came and, he gave her shelter and she accepted the shelter. She said that by going to this saintly person's house, to this saintly person's place, that my son will become not like my husband, but will become an exalted person. She stayed, she never told once to Narad Muni, I am feeling tired, enough of your classes, I want to go home and rest. I am 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant. She never said that. She said that you keep on telling me. She slept also in the class, but in her head, 100 times she's already thinking, I am doing this for my child. I am doing this for my child. And lo and behold, what was the outcome? Prahlad Maharaj, right? There is if we hear the pastime of Kapila and Devahuti, actually Kardama Muni and Devahuti and then Kapila Muni, that here the roles are reversed. Devahuti Devi, although coming from an exalted lineage, Devahuti Devi was not, Mother Devahuti was not some, like a woman who did not know anything. If you just check her lineage out, Brahma's son, Swayambhuva Manu's own daughter is Devahuti Devi. It's just right in the lineage. They know everything, right? If you look at Devahuti Devi, Devahuti's son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Her brother's child, which is Uttanapada's son, is Dhruva Maharaj, who saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Priyamrita Maharaja, he had left this kingdom and he had gone off to the forest and said, this world is anityam asukam lokam. I don't want to be here. I want to go to the forest. I will just pray to the Lord. What's the point of ruling this kingdom? And he went. Brahma came to him and said, no, don't do that. We need strong leaders to take care of this world. We can't, the leadership cannot go to some random people. Who will be the guide for all of these people? Correct? So he came back, he ruled. After him ruling, if you look at his lineage, Rishabdev was born in his lineage, right, as Nabi's son. Rishabdev. Rishabdev's children, Rishabdev was such an exalted, he was the Lord himself. So the question of exaltedness doesn't arise. But Rishabdev's 100 sons, right, of which one was Bharat Maharaj. 81 sons turned out to be exalted devotees. And then the 10 or 11 sons that were there, they turned super exalted as the Navayogendras. Right? 9 Navayogendras. 9, 81 and 1. Right? So, all exalted devotees in the family. Despite all, so I'm giving you the lineage, idea of the lineage, that they were not normal people. They were not like normal, unaware people. They knew that this world is anityam, asukam, lokam. Still, Devahuti, although Kardama Muni was such an exalted Vaishnava, and in their family came Kapila Muni, who was the Lord himself. Devahuti is asking Kapila, you please explain it to me, that what is bhakti? Explain all this confidential knowledge to me. That relation between the mother and son. Kapila says that, mother, you have given me birth. You have done all of this. I am giving you the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you will go home back to Godhead, right? And that relationship between the mother and son is not dissolved just because she went home back to Godhead. That is eternal. That loving exchange between that mother and son is eternal. And there is actually a place called Bindu Sarovar in Gujarat, in today's Gujarat. I don't know where it comes. It comes in some part of Gujarat. And just by Bindu Sarovar, coincidentally, there is a place called Matrugaya. I don't know but this is called Matrugaya, specifically Matrugaya, right? We have all heard of Gaya, right? Where is Gaya? Bihar. And what is Gaya famous for? For Tarpan, for Pitru Tarpan, and for relieving all the ancestors. There is a specific place that is for all entities, but this Matrugaya is a specific place for Tarpan, for the mothers. It is said in the Shastra that a person has 14 debts to the mothers, that which cannot be cleared, of course, but there is a specific place. The time when the mother is pregnant, she undergoes a lot of sacrifice, right? Unknown, unseen. The time when the mother is, delivering, the passage of delivery, the child is suffering, but the mother is also suffering. Bhagavatam itself says, again, I'm not very clear on the canto, but it says at the time of childbirth, that there are so many number of bones that get broken in order to let the child pass through the passageway. 11. If we break one bone in our body, one simple, there is no insignificant bone, but in our body, if there is the most insignificant bone, tomorrow we will be having plaster of Paris all around that place, 100 people giving signatures with markers, and you will have to keep showing, see, I got fracture. But when the mother is undergoing 11 bones fracture, who is seeing, who is not? Nobody knows. Okay. As soon as the child comes out, the first question is the child okay? Then is the mother okay? Correct? Not to blame anybody, but the mentality is wired in like that, right? So the mother undergoes through, and then growing up the child. Is growing up the child an easy aspect? No, it's not an easy aspect. Every second, every minute, whether this person has eaten, whether this person has slept properly, whether they're treating him well in the school, whether they're not treating well in the school. Okay, finished, graduation is done, then you get married. After marriage also, does the anxiety stop? No, in fact, the anxiety doubles. Right? Whether this person is treated well, not treated well, whether my child is doing well or not, whether that person who we have given our son or daughter to is able to take care of my child exactly the way I am taking care of, unconditionally. That anxiety is there throughout the life. That anxiety is there. bringing up the kids. That in like this, the Shastras list 14 things that the mother goes through, and it is from the start of the child's birth until the end of her birth, until the end of her life. And this ways, the mothers think that we can never ever repay back, right? We spoke about Kayadu, we spoke about Suniti, we have to speak about Kunti. Srila Prabhupada says in the first canto, 9th chapter, that Kunti is considered to be the most intelligent woman, the most intelligent woman. She's seen that, everything that has gone through her, that her children have gone through, right? Although being born in a very royal ordered family, she still had to leave and go give birth to her 5 children in the forest, right? She had to give birth to her 5 children in the forest. So just think about it, having everything, having all the facilities, and being able to provide each and everything, and yet being helpless is a condition that it's very difficult to understand, right? Very difficult to go through also. Despite she saw that Bhima was poisoned, her second son was poisoned and thrown into the water, right? Her heart broke over there. She saw how Yudhishthir Maharaj was cheated, and his entire self-earned kingdom and wealth and everything was taken away from him. She saw how Arjuna was played around, left, right, and center. He saw how Arjuna was played around. Nakula and Sahadeva, she saw how things were happening with him, right? She treated Nakula and Sahadeva are actually not her own children. It was the children of her, Madri's daughter, Madri's sons. And Madri was her co-wife, was her, not co-wife, co-sister, was her co-sister. That relationship, even though Madri said that I have, for whatever reason, she had to leave her body, she said, please take care of these children as your own children, as your own child. So it seems that on every day of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Yudhishthir Maharaj used to return back home, the first question she used to ask is, how is Nakul and Sahadev? And when they were okay, then next it shifted to, okay, how are Bhima and Arjuna and so on. You see the depth, because she's always thinking in her head that, somewhere I will probably have more love for my own children than for the children of my co-sisters' children, right? That much she gave in. Yet, despite all of this, she said in her prayer, she's saying that Vipada Santu Nashashu. She's telling Krishna that time and again, they tried to burn my children inside this building. They tried to kidnap they tried to kidnap us. They did so much to my daughter-in-law, all these unwanted things they did to my daughter-in-law. Despite all of this, Krishna, I want these pangs again and again and again, simply because I can take your darshan, and once I take your darshan, I don't have to come back here again, right? The mother sacrifices so much that she's, that in the face of fire, she's ready to go through everything and anything, right? And I'm just trying to think of another example. Right? I mean, there are unlimited examples of mothers often less spoken, but actually their contribution is exalted. Another contribution, that just came to my head. Bali Maharaj was doing, if you know Bali Maharaj's pastimes, he was doing all these things. The Vamana asked for 3 steps of land, he gave 2 steps. Bali said, okay, take the 3rd step and put it on my head. We are saying, oh, Bali Maharaj, you're such an exalted devotee. You told Krishna to put your leg on your own head and take away everything. Fantastic. He is an exalted devotee. But do you know that when the wealth was going, his wife, what is Bali Maharaj's wife? His name? I forget her name. I'm really sorry. I forgot her name. It's not coming to my head. She never told, are you mad? You're giving our wealth away. What will happen to my son? She did not say. She's right away. There is a system in the Vedic way of life that when you give your word, you pour water. When you pour water, water is called evidence, right? Bhumi, apo, nalokam, vayu. This is evidence. She immediately said, "You've given your word to the Lord. Pour the water. Game over." Right? Finish it. Because she knew right then and there that if my husband has done this, I have accepted this, my generations together will be perfect because the Lord has blessed. You see, again, the mother never thought that she's always thinking that, okay, she never thought for herself that how will I live in some Patala Loka downstairs? How will I live in those darkness when I was living here in the royal palace with servants on my left and right? She never thought about that. She thought, okay, what is beneficial for my family? What is beneficial for my family? And time and again, Vedic history proves, and which is why that there is a specific line. We say Atiti Devo Bhavaha, but we also say Matra Devo Bhava. That like mother is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And which is why, concluding to all of this, which is why Prabhupada says that the closest thing of love between the real love between the devotee and the Lord is seen in this material world in the form of the love between the child and the mother. There is no replacement for that, right? So on this day of Mother's Day, right, for us devotees, for us at least for us people who are in this male body and who think that we are something, we are males, but now obviously we are not gone out of this bodily concept of life. If you take the philosophy a little bit higher, we are all nature, we are all prakriti, and there is only enjoyer is Krishna, right? We know that, but we are not at that stage because we think that we are something. So but to us, from birth until now, we have so many mothers nurturing us, especially when whether you're in Krishna conscious or you're not in Krishna consciousness, it doesn't matter. Whether it's your mother's sister or whether it's the priest's wife or whether it's whoever it may be, right? For me especially, all the mothers here are like my mothers only. They've nurtured me, they've treated me like that. So to all the mothers, we offer our heartfelt, humble obeisances onto their lotus feet, because without them, we would be nothing. We could be giving 100 directions. Do it this way. Do it that way. I want it done this way. I want it by this time. I want this is wrong. Correct this. Do this. Do that. A normal person would not be able to take such instructions continuously. But mothers, they take instruction from their inside their house, outside their house, in the temple, outside the temple, everywhere, right? So this exalted nature of mothers is something that forbearance, that tolerance, that patience, that amount of willing to absorb everything. And also, I forget to say this point, and which sounds very crude, but is also true, is that despite a mother doing all of this for the child, the mother sometimes or many times has to listen to abuses from the child also, which the mother also accepts it and says, he or she doesn't understand. I know actually he or she has love for me. They're speaking out of love, right? Even that she's able to absorb, which no, I'm sorry to say, no male member is able to take that sort of absorption. So, to conclude, to give an example from Srila Prabhupada's life, there were two devotees, two of his disciples. They were all coming into Krishna consciousness. White devotees and things like that. So after having so much preaching, in Krishna consciousness and everything, this is Brahmananda Prabhu and Gargamuni. They are two disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So their mother came and visited Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was always respectful of parents of his disciples, right? He never told them that, look at your child, is doing so great in Krishna consciousness, you people are fallen. Nothing like that, right? So he said, you both boys have to bow down to your mother. Their mother had visited Prabhupada once. So their disciples said, but Prabhupada, my mother is not Krishna conscious, she's not a devotee, she's not chanting, she's not attending classes, she's not following the four regulative principles, So Prabhupada said, none of that matters. Whether she chants, whether she doesn't chant, none of that matters. You have to bow down to your mother, because what your mother has done for you, you don't and you haven't realized it. And by the time and I don't know how far, whether you will be able to realize it or not. Okay? And so if Prabhupada is setting that gold standard example of how a person should treat the mother, and then finally, to encourage the mothers, we have this one line that Prabhupada always says, that a mother is able to nourish the body of the child, but a Krishna conscious mother is able to nourish the soul of the child, and which is what is shown by the example of Suniti, Kayadu, etc., etc. You know. So again, on behalf of on behalf of our temple, on behalf of all of our senior devotees, all the male members, all the children, we humbly bow down to to all the mothers who have sacrificed day in and day out. And it's a practical, a shameful thing that we have to do it on only one day of the year. But on the flip side, at least let's do it one day of a year, one day in a year. So we bow down to their lotus feet. We beg for forgiveness for all our rash behavior, for all of us, for all of our insensible childish behavior, which they always keep forgetting as childish also. And we beg also forgiveness from the Lord for treating them in any in a very brash way. And we beg their forgiveness so that we can make progress in Krishna consciousness, and kindly keep supporting us and keep providing us the same nourishment and nurturing, so that one day we may realize what in search of diamond, we shouldn't forget the gold that is present in front of us, right? So we pray and we beg forgiveness, and so that we progress in Krishna consciousness properly, so that we can engage in the loving service of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I'm 6:30. Do I have questions for like a couple minutes? Yeah. If anybody would like to share, yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that enlightening talk. In broad sense, we talk about also Mother Earth,
Yes.
or Mother Nature. If that is what can be also considered as an example, if yes, is there a reference Prabhupada has made to this effect?
There is a Vedic reference that a person has 7 mothers, right? One's own biological mother, Guru's mother, Brahmana's mother, the earth, cow, king's wife, the
And
king,
nurse.
nurse, Dhatri, right? Nurse and
Seven.
yes, is it? No, it's the same thing, right? Nursing and
Nursing and
nursing,
Queen.
queen. So king's wife, queen.
King's wife.
Bhumi, sorry, I forgot to say earth also. Yeah, earth also. So there are 7 mothers.
Yeah.
The earth, the cow is at least spoken everywhere. Everybody's talking about, we'll make this goshala, we'll do this, we want this, we'll take care of the cow. Who's talking about Mother Earth?
Exactly.
Right? Nobody's talking Mother Earth. When you have sputum in your mouth, do you think twice before spitting onto the floor? We don't. We just spit it out, right? Because Mother Earth is not going to come out from the earth and give you a slap and go back in, right?
Yeah.
If that were the case, then we would be a little bit more respectful, correct? Mother Earth is giving you food. We are sustaining because of Mother Earth. Is Mother Earth asking for any payment? Payment, correct?
Hare Krishna, Krishna